You're listening to 101 with Tommie Zam. On the 29th episode, we sit down with Miesha and The Spanks talking about music and life. Let's do this. Hey, Miesha, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. How's everything going over there?
Not bad, not bad. We're gonna have a band practice after this interview, which we haven't had in a while, so I'm really looking forward to that.
Oh, I know. I mean, you're in what, Canada, correct?
Yeah, we're in Alberta. So they're just kind of trying to start their reopening plan so that we'll be totally reopened by mid-July if a certain amount of vaccinations happen. So things are looking good. We booked a show in August here in Calgary, which I'm just so shocked that we were able to do that. It's been a really long time. And we can't announce it till we're in stage 2 just to play it safe. But yeah, we booked something. That's just so awesome.
Well, I'll be popping some champagne bottles for you. Well, that's good. And that like they're finally, getting into stage, finally slowly getting to the stage 2. Just like that way you guys can enjoy life,
Yeah, they just reopened like patio dining on Monday, I think. And so things are slowly moving a bit more. And then the next step is to do like indoor dining and a few more things by mid-June, I think, if the vaccination numbers are up. And we were only looking for 70%. So I think it's pretty realistic.
Yeah, I know that's what they're shooting over here. I know they're like Budweiser is giving away free beer if we hit 70%, and everybody's like, all these companies and stuff are like, hey, we'll give you free stuff, or we'll do this for you if you hit 70%.
Oh, good. I mean, just get it happening, and then we can go back to whatever the normal is now, but just something.
Yeah, but it's crazy like how North America is doing good, but other countries are just doing terrible.
Oh yeah, I haven't been looking too much into it. Like, I know we have these festivals in Europe in September, and everything is still pretty green light as far as I know so far. I don't want to get like stressed or worried about it, so I haven't been following too much.
Well, no, I won't say anything. This we won't jinx it. Well, cool. You ready to get into this?
Yeah.
Talk? All right. Well, some of the viewers and some of your listeners might already know who you are. Just give us a small little bio about yourself.
So I'm Miesha, and my band is Miesha and The Spanks, and we're a garage rock 2-piece from up here in Calgary. We play pretty loud rock and roll. We've got some music down in the States on campus radio right now, and we've had some play on like 91X in San Diego. But we're really just kind of new to the States. We're hoping to do some touring in the spring when we come have some more music and stuff and get on the road when it's for sure wide open again. But yeah, we do a lot of touring and play a lot of festivals and make a lot of records.
That's awesome. And you said 91X in San Diego. That's pretty huge for you guys.
Yeah, I didn't know how big that was till we talked last time. That was a really big deal. I knew it was like my guys in the US were stoked about it, but you made it sound like it was a really big deal. So I'm pretty happy with that. And I know they've played us a few times on there too with a few different singles on Tim Pyle's show. I think it's called Loudspeaker.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, so that's pretty exciting. That feels like a pretty good foot in the door for when we want to make tracks down south.
No, that's awesome, man. Congratulations on that. I mean, anything to get into the States as music wise, it's definitely huge, because I know like it's hard for other, countries or other places to get their music going in the States. So they have to travel to like Europe and other countries to
like
get themselves going.
With the visa system in the US, like it's more affordable to fly to Europe where there isn't a necessary visa for touring music and stuff. And that's so far away. Like, it's just so silly. We're neighbors, it should be easy for us to pop down there. So
I can just throw a baseball to you,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. So what got you into music? I mean, did you have was your parents into music, or were they musicians or anything?
We listened to a lot of music in the house, and I was really in love with musicals when I was a kid. That's kind of the kind of singing that I started doing, like a kid, like when I was kindergarten to grade 3. And then I discovered hip hop when I was a little bit older than that. It was very necessary. Salt and Pepper was my introductory and like really formative album, I would say. And I used to write hip hop for my sister and her friends who were like in high school at that stage when I was like in grade 4 or 5. So I don't think, I mean, it wasn't very good. It was like with those beats that those old keyboards used to have. So not even
Uh-huh.
like hip hop beats, just beats. And I would play. I don't even know what I wrote about at that young, what I thought. But I mean, if I was tuning into Salt and Peppa, I probably didn't know what I was saying a lot of the time. But that
Well,
was
that's
kind
awesome.
of,
So,
oh, sorry.
yeah, sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, so that was just kind of I started, I guess, performing like then with silly little small performances for family. And there was like we're not religious, but there was a church group that had a variety show. And so I would perform at those to try
Hmm.
and just get out there in my small town. I grew up in a town of 3,000. So it wasn't like a huge audience or anything. It was just some local church kids. But that's kind of how I started. I definitely didn't follow through with hip hop in my musical career. I love it, but I don't think I'm the best writer or performer of it.
So you say you wrote music when you were like wrote hip hop music when you were 4 or 5?
In grade 4 and 5. So I
Dude,
was
that's
like
crazy.
eight and nine, I guess.
Oh, okay. Oh, 8, 9. Okay, my bad. I
Yeah,
thought you said
sorry,
you were 4 or 5.
in grade 4 and 5.
Oh, okay. 8 and
Yeah.
9 writing hip hop music. That's pretty good, dude.
Yeah, it's probably pretty silly. But then I got into
So,
punk rock after that.
oh, okay. And then what got you into punk rock? Was it like you saw some bands, or was it like certain type of bands that you liked or anything?
Initially, it was like my friend's older brother was part of the skateboard boys at school, and they all listened to like Green Day, Rancid, um, Gob, Rage Against the Machine, and so that was kind of my intro to punk rock. Like we all listened to what her older brother listened to, and then when I was in high school, I started putting on punk rock shows at our community hall. With a lot of Calgary bands would come through, even though it's not really on the way to Vancouver. Like Invermere is a town that's about 3 hours from Calgary, and it's more in the mountains. It's kind of out of the way, but we would get a lot of touring acts anyways because there's not really any route where there's good shows between Calgary and Vancouver. So we would kind of pick it up and put on those shows, and our little punk rock band would get to open because we were booking the shows. So this shitty little high school band opened for the Mad Caddies when they were touring through BC, which was like a pretty huge deal to throw that in our resume. I bet every other place we tried to book were like, who are these kids? They opened for the Mad Caddies. And so that's how I connected myself with Calgary was having those bands come through our town. A lot of them would like end up crashing in my parents' house. And then I moved to Calgary and I just kind of kept doing it for real, like seeing all those bands come through and play in my town. They were doing it like for real for full time, and I just kind of shifted what I realized I could do with it. But that kind of a dream became something that was tangible, and so I've just always been working towards that since I was a kid.
Dude, that's awesome, man. And to like, I mean, you said you were in high school when you started get more into punk, correct?
Yeah, like 14, 15, I started doing the shows and I started my high school band.
That's awesome, man. Starting your own high school band, doing tour, like not tours, but playing for like big bands and stuff like that and everything. That's pretty awesome. I mean, how did you like at 14? Like, how did you figure out like who you want to put in the bands? Did you do like tryouts and stuff?
Well, there wasn't very many kids in town who played music, so like it was pretty small pickings. There was maybe 2 or 3 high school bands, and we had a lot of the same members, and so we just kind of recycled each other. Every now and then, someone new would want to learn how to play something, and we'd want someone new in our band, and so they would just join up. And like I said, we weren't like good or anything. It was kind of just whoever is brave enough to get on stage and make some noise with their instrument was the ticket.
That's awesome. And were you nervous when you first time did your first gig?
Oh yeah, it took a long time for me to like be really comfortable and confident on stage. I would say even throughout this project, it took me a while to find my legs with it really. And I think probably touring, like with this band, with Miesha and The Spanks, we tour. Well, we did, I mean, until everything, but we toured like I don't know, 30 date tours like 3 or 4 times a year. And like once you're doing that every night, every night, every night, it feels really natural. And I've always like loved being on stage, but been scared of it at the same time. And so just getting that muscle memory and that practice, finally it feels natural to me. So when I was a teenager, like forget about it. I was just like shaking. I have this video, like old VHS of my very first show, and that was acoustic solo. So even more terrifying because you're the only one up there. And
Oh no.
just like this nervous kid, like shaking before I start playing, and finally getting through my one song and just like looking up so scared. Like the audience after it finished. It was just so silly. But everybody was super like supportive and applause. So it's kind of funny to see the look on your face when you get that like support and love from people doing something you're so terrified to do.
Mm-hmm. No, that's awesome. I mean, me honestly, I mean, I still get, even when I'm, I want to say my age, but even when now I'm still nervous, even getting on the stage or being in front of a camera, but it takes
Oh
me a
yeah.
while. So I totally get what you're saying. I mean, it's definitely, and how I usually do it is like if I feel nervous or scared, I kind of like crack a joke and then make everybody laugh, and then I'm like golden.
Nice. Nice. I
That's
always like sometimes I do feel kind of nervous to even still sometimes, like depending on I don't know, maybe like the stakes of the show. If it's a really important show or there's like some industry member we want to work with is in the audience, and it just feels high stakes. I still am kind of nervous in that sort of a situation. I think maybe anybody would. But once we like get through the first song and nail that, it's like, oh yeah, okay, I do this all the time.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it's a nerve wracking. I mean, I have a lot of respect for musicians, because I mean, just the nighttime, every day, just playing in front of like 20, 30,000 people or 10 people. It's awesome. You know what I mean? I wish I could do that one day.
Yeah, the big shows where there's like a ridiculous amount of people, although I've never played for 20,000 or anything like that. Like maybe a we got to open for Queens of the Stone Age like 10 years
No
ago,
way.
and it was at a sold out venue obviously. And I'm not sure what the capacity was, but it was pretty big. But like that's less nervous because you feel so removed. Like I'm less nervous at a show like that than I am for a show that's like 100 capacity but it's half full or something. Like that feels scarier to be on stage for because it feels like that small group of people like are really really watching, whereas a huge sold out place you just kind of start playing your role and it feels, I don't know, you feel kind of detached from what's going on, and it makes it, I don't know, makes it less scary. If that makes any
No, I
sense.
know. Yeah, no, that definitely doesn't make sense because I mean, because you think about it, most of the people going out to the sold out show are going to go see, the biggest band. You know what I mean? They're going to be like drinking, yeah. But when you're like you're the main show and everybody's like there to see you, then that's like way more nerve. Like I can't mess up, I can't do this. We got to be on point.
Yeah, totally.
So go back a little bit. So you opened up for Stone Pilot. That's awesome. How was that, dude?
Queens of the Stone Age.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Queen of Stone.
was
Sorry.
it was totally wild. When I got the email, I thought it was. I was like, "Is this real? Is this a real request?" Like, I've never gotten, I've never been asked to open for a huge band before. And I guess what the thing was that they were looking for a two-piece band. They had been doing the U.S. dates with Deep Valley, and they didn't
Mhm.
have Deep Valley for the Canadian dates, and so they wanted a two-piece band to set up in front of all their stuff and just make it easier. And so then they asked around to local promoters for two-piece bands to recommend. And there's quite a few here, but we were on everybody's list, so they asked us first. And so it was just kind of lucky, but also because we were recommended, and it was wild. It was so wild. It was sold out obviously, and we played a pretty good set. And it kind of at first it felt like, oh, the band's probably not going to be here. They're not going to see us play. It's going to be one of those shows where like we don't even interact with them. But then while we were playing towards like, I don't know, 3 or 4 songs left, like they came to the side of the stage and they were watching us play and like cheering and being awesome. And I was like, holy smokes, these guys are like, they're rad. They're so nice. And they gave us like hugs in the hallway and we hung out with them afterwards and just like shot the shit. And it was really cool. They're super nice dudes. And we got to do this amazing thing and they were really encouraging.
Dude, that's awesome. And so, like, when you saw him on the side of the stage, were you like, "Oh shit, I can't screw up"? I got
Yeah, a little bit, but it also kind of gave me like a pump up, like, okay, time to like take it to the next level because they're watching.
Dude, that's awesome, man. I mean, just to open up for those guys is pretty amazing. Have you opened up? That's your first time ever open up for somebody like that, or you opened up with more people?
For that level of a band, I think that's probably the only show where we opened up for someone that huge. I mean, there's like other bands that maybe aren't as big, but that meant more to me. Like we opened for Hot Snakes during this festival here in Calgary, who are one of my favorite bands. And because it was a smaller show, we got to see I got to stand side stage while they played, and we got to hang out with them at the merch table, and they were so nice, and it was just like a big dream. And it was like they broke up and decided last minute to do these reunion things, so I never thought I'd ever get to see them live, and it turned out we got to open for them, so that was a really big deal to me. And we
That's
played with Death
awesome.
from Above, which was a really great show as well. Those guys are just killing it.
That's awesome. I mean, because I mean, you guys seem lucky because I mean, well, not lucky, but I mean, just fell in the right place because a lot of these bands are like, hey, promoters like, hey, we want these guys to play with you because these guys rock, and that's pretty awesome to
Yeah,
have
I
that
mean, luck is
respect.
a big part of it because there's a lot of really great bands who could have gotten that opportunity as well. So there's an element of luck, even though like we're a great band and we deserve cool stuff. So are a lot of bands, So there's always a bit of an element of luck involved with this stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And so from high school and in between now, you started other bands too.
Yeah, I had after my high school band carried through to like a couple of years here in Calgary when I was 18, 19 after I moved here, and then we broke up, and then I was in a ska band called Hog Puncher that was not very good. I taught myself saxophone for it, which was
No way. How was
not
that?
it was like if I nailed it, it was okay. Like, and so a lot of shows it was like unnecessary. I was really into this band from the UK called Capdown, and their singer plays sax and sings, and I just figured I could do it too. And I mean, I did it, but I don't know if I did. I didn't really do it well. And anyways, that was kind of just a little phase. That band was around for a couple years maybe, and we just did some touring around like Western Canada, just the area that we live in. And then I started a band called Bogart after that, which was more in the lines of more rock and roll punk, kind of like New Bomb Turks, maybe in that kind of vein.
Hmm.
And that was I was a little like another level more serious. We had a local record label and did a little bit more touring in Western Canada, but I was dating the guitar player. And so when we broke up in a really bad breakup, the band definitely broke up at the same time.
Oh, okay.
And I
Well,
was kind of
they
uh,
say you can't date your band member,
no, you
man.
totally can't. You totally can't. But like, I don't know. I like as a woman in the rock scene, you end up dating a lot of musicians, and then it just starts to feel natural that you should be playing music together. But then
Mhm.
you break up, and everything gets screwed. So yeah, so that's over. But then I was just tired of bands breaking up because I really wanted to make this my career and really do something with it. So that's when I started Miesha and The Spanks. The idea was to just like be able to say yes to everything I wanted to say yes to and take advantage of everything I wanted to do. And if a band member couldn't do it any longer, no big deal. I'll find somebody else and just keep my band name and my songs going no matter what happens. So
Mhm.
that worked really, I mean, that helped me get a lot of things rolling, but it's hard like starting and stopping and changing members a lot. So when Sean joined about 5 years ago, I think 5 years ago, it was a really good fit because he's the same sort of musician as me who just wants to do music. And so he's like, yeah, I'll say yes to everything as well. Like we want to go on tour, we want to travel, we want to work with cool producers, we want to do all this stuff. So we're doing it together, which is awesome. And we get along really well. We have really similar temperament, which is great because we spend a lot of time in the van together. And
Mhm.
I've totally gone on tour with people I ended up hating by the end of it, and we just seem to be totally in sync. It's really great.
That's awesome. And how'd y'all meet up? Was it through a friend, through another concert, or what?
Well, I mean, Calgary is a pretty small town music scene, and so we both knew of each other for like a really long time, but we only met when we were both his old band Jenny, which was a pretty like skate punk band, and Miesha and the Spanks with a different drummer were playing in Toronto for Canadian Music Week, and we were put on the same showcase. And that was the first time we actually met. I think it was 2013. I'm gonna say. And yeah, so we actually met then, and then all of a sudden we started actually running into each other in Calgary all the time and became fast friends. We worked at the same diner for a bit, and he just started filling in on drums for my other old drummer Amelia when she started like not being that into it anymore. And so as soon as she quit, yeah, he was in. It was great.
That's awesome. That sounds like a match made.
Yeah, yeah, it's really nice to like have a band partner that you're just so tight with. He was actually best man at my wedding.
No way. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Like I skipped the maid of honor and I brought Sean as my best man instead.
That's awesome. You're like, hey, you know what, girls? I love you guys, but this guy rocks, man.
Yeah, yeah. And then I still had some bridesmaids, so we still got to do like really silly girl stuff too.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's cool. And how long you been married?
Um, we're coming up on 3 years.
Congratulations on it. And you have a child too?
Yeah, I have twins. They're 1.5.
Whoa. So you got twins. That must be a lot of work, huh?
It is a lot of work. It's been really interesting trying to navigate being like a full-time work at home, stay at home mom. Like I'm kind of having to play both roles. And so my mom comes over and watches them for a few hours, a few days a week, but there's just like there's so much stuff to do between them and between my music. And so they're starting daycare next month, which I'm really excited about. So I can
You're
kind
like
of get back to work a little bit. It's been really hard to juggle everything.
you're like, yes, finally.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss them as soon as they're gone, though.
Oh, you know you will.
They're such a huge part of my day to day. But yeah, like it's wild. Like I run the band. Like it's my business. You know, I write all of our grants and I write all of our music and I make all of our plans and I do all the interviews and it's just like trying to keep up. I'm always like a few emails behind. I'm always like a week late on everything everyone needs from me. It's
Well,
tricky.
you're doing an awesome job. I mean, you know,
Thanks.
you're juggling everything. I mean, it's tough. Like it's tough to be a band. Be in a band or have a career, any kind of career where you have to be a stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home dad, and you got to take care of the kids or whatever, and then you got to run your own business and this. It's tough, but you're doing an awesome job.
Thank you. Thanks. I mean, it's going really well, and I managed to pull off releasing a record, so we're doing okay.
And go back a little bit. You said, do you feel like it's tough? Is it harder now for women to be into music? No, not music, but to go farther with music than it is back in the days?
I don't think it's. I think it's definitely more accessible now. There's a lot of support for women and for people of color, people who've been previously overlooked, especially in whiter genres like rock music, which
Mm-hmm.
is hilarious because it was totally a black genre first. But that's how it is, and so yeah, so there's a lot more opportunities and support set up, and I think things are changing and growing. And there was a time when I'd go on tour and I wouldn't see a single female musician on any of the dates that we played, and now there's not a show where I don't. So I mean, that's an obvious change right there. There's more shows with women playing them. There's more women playing music. It used to be really discouraging, I think, to even pick up and try to join the boys club. It was made very competitive because there was only room for like one token girl. And now that's not really the case anymore. Now it's like better almost if you do have a female member.
That's awesome.
People are tired of bands that are just white guys. And that's
Yeah.
not to say that just white guys aren't making awesome music, but it's seeing the same thing for a really long time, I think. And so shuffling it up is a good thing for sure. And yeah,
No,
so I think things are they're a little easier. And having kids now, I'm seeing kind of the support that there is for parents in music. There's a few festivals that have let me know that they have daycare, and I'm like, really?
really.
Like I could bring my kids to this festival? Like that's really awesome. And people, scheduling around my really weird schedule. I mean, no one's really had a problem with it. So I think it's even easy to be a parent. Well, not easy, but easier to be a parent right now. Back in the day, it would have been like, oh, you're having a kid. It looks like you've made your choice, no career.
Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, that does. But that's awesome that to know that festivals are doing that for musicians, female or guy musicians to have kids. Like, hey, you know what? I gotta, I got my kids. You know what? Bring them with you and let's have a good time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it probably depends on the festival, right? Like this was an outdoor festival, so it's kind of more daytime. I don't think there's a daycare, at a small club or something.
No, 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 no. I can't picture a club or bar say, hey, you know what? We got daycare for your 1-year-old right hang out here. Don't worry, we promise won't give them no tequila, but we'll give them some. Well, that's awesome to know that like the music scene has more opened up, got away from the I guess the guy club or whatever you want to call it, to open up to more women. Because I remember me seeing my first all woman show was L7,
Oh,
and
nice.
and it was, I loved them, dude. Like L7 was like
Yeah,
one of my
L7
favorite.
rocks.
Oh yeah, they're one of my favorite like women punk rock band, you know, and they kicked ass, dude. And that was my first time ever seeing that, and I was just like, dude, these guys rock. And
Yeah.
this is right when they first came out. You know what I mean? I think I forgot who they're on tour with, but I mean it was many years ago. But I mean it was when they first came out, and nobody knew who they were. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
love L7. There were, there wasn't growing up in like a small town, there wasn't a lot. Like I kind of only get the bands that were pretty big on like at our local CD store and stuff. And so it was hard to discover new music because internet wasn't that big of a thing yet. Like we had dial up and I'd like beg my mom to like increase our hours so I could like use more stuff, get more access to things. But L7 is one of the ones that did shine through. I think I don't know what I found some like one issue of one of like feminist magazine. I can't even remember what it's called at the local bookstore. And there was just a review section. L7's album, Triple Platinum Beauty Process, was
yeah,
in there. And so I checked it out. I ordered it at the local CD store. And man, that's such a good record. That's on my like, I listen to that all the time still.
does that do they pump you up? Like when you do listen to them now, do they you still get pumped up from them?
Oh yeah, especially because it's that nostalgic pump up. Like it's like I remember hearing it for the first time all over again. Like it just totally is consistent with that feeling.
That's awesome. That's awesome to know. I mean, it's crazy how we're still talking about L7, and that was like back in like
Oh, so long ago.
early '90s.
Yeah.
And probably the viewers are like, who L7? Who are these guys? You know, but hey, you guys check out L7 if you ever do. You know, got Spotify, Apple Music. Check them out. They're definitely good, dude. Old
That's
school
so
punk.
good.
If you want to listen to those. So, so you also too. So let's go back a little bit to you. So I mean, you just got nominated for some kind of award. Tell us about that.
Yeah, the Western Canadian Music Awards. This is our first nomination at this awards. I've applied before, but we've never like I don't know, been active enough and good enough, had enough accomplishments, but we made it this time. So we're up for Rock Artist of the Year, against some really, really good musicians. And a lot of women musicians actually are in that category as well, which I'm really thrilled about. Because again, like you would usually see like one female artist in there, but Mobina Galore are in there, who are awesome punk rock from Winnipeg.
Oh,
And
what?
yeah, and Pack AD from Vancouver, also like very like blues garage punk rock.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say actually that I wouldn't say that they play punk rock music, but I know that they come from punk rock, so that influence is always there. That's sort of with us too. I'm not sure how punk rock our music necessarily comes across, but we have that punk rock ethos with us from growing up with it. But anyways,
That's awesome.
Shred Kelly are in there too, and they're from Fernie. They're like less of they're less heavy rock. Like they just slid into the rock category, I would say. And Scenic Route from Alaska, who are from those are a bunch of boys. They're from Edmonton, I think. They're another Alberta artist. But yeah, so a really great artist in there. I mean, it's really anyone's game, I think, for who's gonna pull through. I'm really happy with all of them. They're awesome.
And so explain to the viewers about this award thing. So is it like a kind of like the Oscars where you go there and you sit there and they call your name or whatever and stand in front of like a red carpet and stuff, or is it more differently?
I hope that it's going to be like that this year. We're kind of waiting on
Oh,
COVID
okay.
restrictions. So normally it's part of a festival called Breakout West.
Okay.
And they would happen together at the same time. So there'd be a music festival conference going on and the awards portion. So whatever, and it changes towns. It changes towns between Western provinces. Last year it was in Whitehorse in the Yukon. This year it's going to be in Winnipeg, and they moved the festival to February just to ensure that they could have live music, just despite restrictions. And so but the awards are still in October, and so they're hoping to have an in-person awards ceremony in Winnipeg, but they just can't say for sure yet. Like they just have to be totally in the clear before they can. So hopefully it's a big event because it's pretty fun. There's a local awards show called the YYC Music Awards, and they totally make it like a gala. It's really fun. Also because it's such a small awards because it's just Calgary, to go like overboard with like treating it like a huge award show is just super fun.
Oh, that's awesome. And so do you guys get to play and stuff like that?
I don't think, I think because they're separating it from the festival, I don't know if they're going to have live music or not for the awards this year, but typically there would also be live music. Yeah.
Okay, and then so the people who are nominated, they're the ones that get to play, or they pick a different type of people, different
Yeah,
bands.
I think it's usually like some select nominees. Um, but yeah, but I don't really know what's gonna happen this year. But normally, yeah, it would be some nominees. So you apply to get nominated, and then the people running the awards choose the nominees. But then everyone who's a member of a Western Canadian Music Association, so like Winnipeg, BC, Alberta, and Yukon and Northwest Territories and Saskatchewan, all the industry members all vote on who's going to win from that.
Okay, dude, that's awesome, man. That's like, dude, congratulations. I don't know what to say.
Thank you. It's really exciting because it is our first time getting in here, and so we're feeling pretty proud of that.
Man, I might have to buy tickets and come up there and watch you guys play in person. I might have to wear a suit or something. Like that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, we'll
That's real,
definitely be getting super dressed up. It's fun to do that kind of stuff.
dude. That's awesome. And so other than that, have you guys got anything else like have y'all been like any songs and movies, TV shows, or anything like that?
We've been like getting a lot of offers to pitch our music to some shows, but we haven't quite made it into very many shows. Not with this latest record, anyways. The last record, we had a song in a web series that's kind of based here in Alberta, which was pretty exciting. And we've got what we got coming up here. Well, we've been doing our like web series called Spanks World. We did that kind of promotionally for Singles EP, our last record that we just released. And we were just kind of doing some performances in the garage in our jam space and talking about a couple songs at a time for 4 webisodes leading up to the release. And it went really well. People were really into it. Like, we didn't really want to do a full live stream because it just takes such a production to make loud music sound good on like a phone or on a laptop. So it's pretty expensive to do that. So it didn't really seem that worthwhile for us to do that sort of thing. But we could make these little episodes and spread out like one jam over 4 things. And that went really well because then we got to like talk about the music and the songs with kind of with our audience, right? The kind of talking that we would do at the merch table if we had run into somebody, and that's just not happening right now. So we're going to continue that into the summer for July and August. I was hoping to do it for June, but things just kind of got a little crazy. So for July and August, we'll be doing, it'll kind of be a season focused on the reopening of Alberta and having shows again. And we'll
Mm-hmm.
sort of take that route for getting moving. And then in September, when we go play these festivals in Europe, we're going to bring our videographer with us and do Spanks World abroad from all the different conferences and festivals we're playing. And we're going to do a little bit of recording in the UK while we're there. So just kind of cover everything and just give everyone like a taste of what it's like being a independent artist, independent DIY artist on the road.
That's awesome. And where can people view this at? This is like YouTube? Is this going to be like on a streaming network
Yeah, it's going to be like on all of our socials. Like we didn't really decide to choose one because we just really want everyone to be able to see it. So we've got YouTube, we've got our Instagram TV, and as well Facebook. We have videos on there as well. And we'll just launch them all. It'll be like probably twice a week while we're abroad, but for the summer it'll be 2 episodes a month. So I think just 4.
That's awesome, man. And what made you guys think about it? Is it because was COVID? You guys decided to do something like that, or?
Yeah, because of COVID, because we weren't playing any shows and we weren't talking with anybody at shows. Like, so much of what we do as a band is based on face to face and performing live, and we lost that, and so we had to sort of adjust and find another way to connect with people. Yeah, and with our weird schedules too, right? Like, hosting a live event is really hard to schedule, whereas we could have put more time into the production and video work and editing to do something pre-recorded. We just recorded that over 2 days and then created 4 episodes of it. And so
that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's just basically trying to find a way to connect and try to navigate how to use all these platforms to help us do it.
Dude, that's awesome. And to you're saying about live stream, that is definitely difficult because we're because I have my own, I produce and host my own show, my own skateboard TV talk show, and it's hard, you know, because we were so used to doing live shows, like actual live act, like with live audience and everything live. And then when COVID hit, we had to step back and like, whoa, how are we going to do this now? So now we're doing live streaming till season 5, and it's tough, you know.
Yeah. It's weird not having that, like, being able to make eye contact with somebody out there, like having just that connection with people, you know, like talking to a camera is a lot different.
Yeah, it definitely is, because I mean it's tough, because I mean you gotta go to YouTube channel, you gotta trust me, what you guys are doing is way better.
Thanks.
Because I can't, like, I'm so used to like messing up, you know, and like not messing up, but like, you know, doing cuts and stuff. But when
Oh
you do
yeah.
live streaming, you can't. You have to be on point, do your thing, and like you can't even use the restroom. You got to make sure you use the restroom before you even get on to so I'm usually sitting there for an hour, like, oh my god, like counting the blessings before to get over, so I could use the restroom, you know.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, doing it. I mean, when we recorded, like talking about the songs and everything, like there was so many cuts that we made. Like it would have been really ridiculous if that was live streamed. I'm really glad that we decided to do the edits. And I mean, it makes sense going forward. Like if you're gonna put this stuff out to the world, it may as well be how you imagined it and edited and pieced together to show that.
Yeah, and it's definitely awesome what you're gonna do. Take it to like back, you know, behind the scenes of like your festivals and your lives, your, you know, performing live and stuff. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'll be really cool. I'm pretty excited to take this angle of like explaining what it is we're doing over there and what it's like to go do these meetings and to try and, you know, get yourself heard in these places where you've never played before. Because we'll be in Sweden, it will be in Germany and Estonia in Europe, and we've never played in any of those places. So it's really interesting to see what it's really like when you go do that kind of stuff.
And when are these tours start?
In September. So I think September 15th is when it gets going, and then we'll be home October 3rd.
Are you excited?
I'm so excited to get, I mean, like, I love Calgary, but I've been here for way too long. We usually have so many more tours. Like, I love coming home to Calgary, you know? I don't love being here every day of the year. Like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to get out of here.
You're like this, like counting down the months. You're like, all right, it's June,
Oh, yeah.
July. Come on, 3 more months, man. We got to do this.
Yeah, right, exactly.
That's awesome. And so when you go in September, are these festivals, or they at bars or clubs or something?
They're festivals, but they're the kind of festival that's spread around the city. So it'll be like a lot of small venues. I think they'll usually use a big venue for a couple of shows, but it'll be like, yeah, smaller spaces. It's more based on like industry coming to see you, like definitely music fans and stuff as well. But it's like a networking kind of event when it's a music conference. You're just trying to like you're trying to build yourself up in these territories and markets and stuff. So yeah, so we're gonna go there, hopefully make some team members so that we can do a full-on tour next time we go through there.
Dude, that'd be awesome. And do you feel like, I mean, you've been in music since you've been, you know, grade 4, grade 5, you know, writing music and been in bands and stuff like that, different bands and doing tours and stuff. Do you feel that it's harder for musicians coming out in Canada to promote themselves?
I
Like
mean,
in Europe
exporting
and
is
the United
kind of
States?
exporting is kind of new to me. Like we've just toured the shit out of Canada for so long. So I know the Canada scene pretty in and out. And so I'm just kind of learning what it's like to export. And honestly, like I think it would be really difficult if you didn't have the resources. Like our Canada is really great for grants and for making all these extra programs for musicians to learn what they're doing and connecting you with people in these other countries who will help bring you over there. And so without that help, I think it would be so tricky to figure it out. I mean, there's language barriers, right? So like how do you even know which person you're supposed to chat with? And it's a totally different scene. Everything is structured very differently within their industries, and without having a bit of that knowledge, I think it would be quite hard. But here in Canada, at least we have all these resources to help us learn how to do that. And it's pretty cool, like that there's such a push on learning how to do it all yourself.
Yeah, that's awesome. And do you feel like it's harder to get into the United States?
the visas are the biggest part, right? Like I think festivals are a little bit different. Like if I was coming down to play South by Southwest, like we were supposed to 2 Marches ago, I don't think I need a visa for that. If I'm just coming down to perform at that festival, because I'm not getting paid. We're just going to perform at this showcase thing. So something like that would be easier to get into and get your foot in the door. But then it's just all of the extra work with these visas, I think, is the biggest block for why more Canadian artists don't just pop down. Because if you
Yeah.
get caught sneaking across, which some bands do go and do that, like it's a 5-year ban from the US.
Wow, that's crazy,
So
dude.
like if you're trying to start your music career, that's a pretty bad way to start it.
No, 100%. You know what I mean? Like, I would never expect that. I figured, like, you know, Canada would be a little, the United States would be more lean and say, hey, you know what? We're neighbors. We share each other's, you give us syrup, we give you whatever you need. We're good, you know?
Yeah, I have no idea why it's like that, but I mean, once you get your visa, I think it's pretty smooth sailing. Like you're good for the year, and you can book as many dates and whatever you want to do within that year. So it's just kind of that first step. And now that we've been working on getting our music down there a bit more, I think it feels like a next natural step. Like if nobody down there knew who we were at all, it would be like pretty risky to invest in all this stuff to get down there, I think. So with our foot in the door, I'm feeling like it'll be worth it to go through all the visa hassle.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at least you guys are in 91X in San Diego. That's huge. You know what I mean? That's a good step, you know?
Yeah, totally. Like I think actually like in California, there's quite a few little community stations that have picked us up. That's kind of how we're gonna figure out our touring schedule is like what community campus stations have been giving the singles some spins and try to route closer to those.
And and go back a little bit. So when you do these festivals, so you said you don't get paid for these festivals, or do you like they don't help you out at all, or do you
You
gotta
don't
like
you
come
don't get
out?
paid, no. It's like, but then you get funding for it as well
Okay.
from the Canadian government, anyways, from our different granting services.
Oh,
So no, you
okay.
don't get paid to perform because you're going there to showcase to try and build a team and get new fans, and it's more of a conference than a festival, I guess is kind of how you would. Even though there's showcase festival performances, it falls more under a conference.
Oh, okay. And so when you do these festivals, when you guys plan all these festivals and stuff, this all comes out of you guys. Well, you get funding from the Canada, you get funding and stuff like that, but also too it comes out of your pocket too, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's definitely more of an investment. I mean, which is worth it because you really do meet a lot of people, and it really does help move things forward.
And have you had any like record labels come hit you guys up or anything, or?
Not yet, no. No, we've been doing everything pretty independently. We have a local record label here in Calgary, but it's really just kind of a support system. It's a woman here who's a music lover. Saved by Vinyl is her record label, and so she just helps you release records and has distribution set up and will help front expenses as you need them. But she almost kind of operates like a grant, like we'll loan you stuff to get it going, and then you just pay her back and it's just like that simple. She's not very involved. Like we're definitely running the release um, on our own.
Dude, that's awesome. I mean, it sounds like you guys get you guys have, Canadian musicians that get a lot of support up there. You guys
Yeah,
got a
we
lot.
really do. I can't imagine because I don't think the U.S. has anything like that.
No, I
Like
don't think
I
so
can't
either.
imagine being an up and coming artist without this. And like it's not like we don't work. Like we work really hard, but we just have this support. And I can't imagine working that hard and not having that support. Like what extra things you'd have to do. Like you just have to try and save so much money. There'd be probably a lot more musicians living with their parents, right?
Yeah, or you have to move to LA.
Yeah.
or New York or LA. Well, I guess that's the two places where you have to move for anything. Actors, musicians,
Oh
skateboarders,
yeah. It's
surfers.
like Toronto, Vancouver here.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, those are our other two big cities too.
And you're like, nah, I'm not going to Toronto. I'm not going to Vancouver. I'm gonna stay
Well,
right.
we tour so much that like we spend enough time in those places, and we can go spend a week in Toronto if we need to, or a week in Vancouver. Like as a two-piece, it's a lot easier for the two of us to fly around than if we were like a five-piece band. That would be very difficult to always try to coordinate everybody and pay for everybody to go to these places. But with just the two of us, it's not that bad. Like for us to go take advantage of stuff like that and keep calling Calgary our home.
Would you guys ever be down to play with Matt and Kim?
Matt and Kim.
You never heard of them?
I know that sort. So, I know that name. I'm totally like, who is that? I'm spacing on that.
They're the same. There's act just like you guys, but they're husband and wives. And
Okay.
she's a drummer, and I think he's the guitarist and singer. They both sing, but she's a drummer.
Okay. Sweet.
They're huge in the United States. I mean, they're huge.
I
And
totally know that name, but like,
I know you.
sorry,
I know
sorry,
you.
I'm not putting it together.
No, you're good. You're good. No, I'm just saying, but that'd be. I was just thinking about that because you guys are a two piece and they're a two piece. It'd be awesome if you guys like played together, like toured together, or did a show together. Because I mean, that'd be awesome. You know?
It's fun finding other two pieces because like the way you have to approach music as with just two members is a lot different. Like you have to get really creative with how to fill your sound out, or else it is pretty empty. You know, if it was just one guitar amp and drums, like it would feel like something was missing. Like and everyone's got a different way to solve that problem. So I always have a lot of fun when we get to play or interact with other two pieces and see what other people are up to.
Yeah. And do you like two piece better than like having a full band?
To play with, I mean, this just works like a dream. Like me and Sean are just so in sync. I've been in bigger bands and there's just so many personalities and so many schedules, and I mean, it's a lot of work and it's a lot of hassle, and we sound loud enough. Like we don't really need anything extra. The only thing I guess that would be nice is some relief on me playing guitar. Like if we had a bass player, I could like just sing for a bridge or something, and that would be really fun. I have a hard time like getting away, like I can't really get away from the microphone to do any cool guitar stuff because I always have to be in position to do the vocals and the guitar work.
Yeah.
And so it would be, I guess it'd be a little more fun live to have a bit of freedom, but I don't know if that outweighs how great it works, just the two of us.
I mean, I listen to your albums and I love your stuff, man. And what you guys, me knowing that you guys are a two piece, it gives more special to it. You know what I mean? Because it's like
Oh, thanks, Ben.
because you guys like kick ass. I mean, because you got a drummer, you got to play guitar, you sing, and you know what I mean. So it's like it's good work. You know.
Thanks, man. There's a lot to think about. Like, there's always a lot of moving pieces when we're playing live, especially now. And it feels like every record we add new stuff, and then we're like, okay, we got to figure out how we're gonna do this live now. And so it's just getting like more and more complicated, but it's challenging, and that's really fun. That's like one of the funnest parts. So if you're just doing the same thing all the time, it'd be hard to love it as much.
Yeah, definitely. And you guys just dropped a single too, right?
Yeah, we just dropped in our EP.
Sorry.
It's called Singles EP, and the idea was that it was a bunch of singles put on one record that we were just going to try to get use out of every song. So we released 4 singles between July and March onto radio like Sirius XM and campus community radio and those like and stuff like 91X in San Diego, like stations like that on their. Mostly we just got features on stuff like that, like whatever their alternative local up and coming music shows were. We usually got an ad on those. And then we released the full EP in April, and we're just kind of trying to get some music on some TV shows and doing that kind of licensing stuff right now, and music videos, I guess. Like that, we did a couple of music videos as we were releasing singles, but without not being able to tour, we want to do something. So we have a few more music videos in the works. Mixed Blood Girls we're shooting, I think, next month.
Okay.
And then I Used to Care is next, and Unstoppable, and we'll just kind of feel it out. Like once we actually start playing shows again, we're going to get pretty busy.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if there will be a music video for every single song.
And do you feel like making music videos, is that hard to do, or is it like
if
difficult?
you've got a good like director and filmmaker to work with, like the guy that we do a lot of stuff with here in Calgary, he does everything, and he just loves to build his portfolio up. So we're getting a pretty good rate from a really amazing guy and making some pretty interesting videos, and that works really well. But if you don't like know somebody to do those favors, then you kind of have to work with a bigger company, and then it gets really expensive. So we've been doing pretty low budget videos of pretty high quality, I think.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, because you guys do like, you do. I mean, you film stuff in the middle of Antarctica, didn't you, or something?
Oh yeah, yeah. I went fire. Fuck, that was freezing.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, that was like a cold snap here in Alberta, like, and it was in the mountains on a lake for that particular scene. So it was like my feet were like bricks of ice when we were finished. Like I couldn't like bend my feet at all. It was ridiculous. And it was so cold the drone wasn't working.
Oh,
So it was like we had to keep waiting and waiting to get started, and we weren't wearing particularly warm clothes for that shoot because we wanted it to, you know, to look a certain way. And the stereo even wasn't playing. The batteries froze. So shot like so when for you making a music video, you're kind of like mock playing along to the song so that it syncs up right.
mhm.
And we didn't have that song. So Sean had his headphones in and played the song on his phone because we were just trying to get this done as quickly as possible because it was so cold. We were having like
Wait,
shots of
how cold was it? Like -0?
I don't know in the comparison. Like I don't know the different like
But
Celsius Fahrenheit, but it was definitely close to -30 here. I'm not sure what that is for you.
that's freezing.
It's freezing, yeah. And so we
That's
were doing
freezing.
like shots of whiskey in between to try and warm ourselves up. And after every take, we would feel like a little more warmed up from the adrenaline and be like, oh, yeah, okay, we can do another take. But then waiting to start, it'd be like, oh my God, we can't do this. So, okay, so going back there, sorry. Sean had his headphones in and he was listening to the song. And so he was just making sure that he was hitting the drums with it loud enough that I could pretend like I could just play along and figure out where I think my parts were, which is tricky. I mean, that shot wasn't for close up. So if I was lip syncing the wrong parts, that's not a big deal because it was really all about like the scenery for those shots. But it felt really chaotic because we were just so cold and just trying to get everything done as quickly as possible. And
Oh,
the cabin itself doesn't have heating unless you're like the wood stove is going. And I don't know when the last time someone had stayed there was. So my husband was up there starting the fire and getting the cabin warmed up. So it wasn't even fully warm by the time we were done those shots. So we were
oh.
just like huddling as close to the wood stove as we could, trying to like get warmed up. But I mean, it turned out great.
Dude, that's crazy. Viewers, if you ever get a chance, look at that. On
As
you,
for on YouTube, I want fire.
yeah,
I think it's also on Facebook and
it's on
Instagram
Facebook.
TV as well. I just keep putting them on everything so that they're viewable to everyone.
So viewers, go check out that video. You'll once you listen to the story, then watch the video, you'll be like, wow, that's crazy. And so another thing too, one last question I want to ask you before we go on. I notice a lot of musicians now are only putting singles out because they rather put have people have singles in their like or songs in their like everyday music they listen to instead of doing albums. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, like Spotify wants new content from artists all the time. And I mean, that's such a weird way to do it. Like myself, I want to put a record on. But at the same time, I get it. Like I also listen to my music on my phone when I'm out for a walk or something, and a playlist is fun. So I think you kind of have to just do like a combo. So that's why I spread out the singles so far in advance of the actual EP coming out. So like in July, we had a single, in September, in January, and then in March, we had singles coming out and being released on those like streaming platforms and stuff. And I think that worked pretty good. It's hard to navigate. Like everything in the industry wants you to do something different, but at the end of the day, you're making music for your fans. And I think I mean, at least in our genre, and people who love vinyl, like you want a record. So I think the ticket is to do a campaign with that singles based, but at the end of the day, have a record as well.
Okay, yeah, definitely. And one other question I just picked up. Spotify and Apple Music and stuff, do you feel that's helping you guys out more, or are you guys getting like a little small percentage from it, or
Not
not?
financially. Financially, it's like you have to make so many plays in order to make any money off it.
Really?
So it's really just, I guess, about the accessibility and being able to be found by new fans, like from anywhere in the world. Like your music's just out there on this platform that everybody uses, so you can kind of get discovered by some new fans that way. And I think that's the real benefit of it.
Okay. And so you feel like digital platform has changed the way of the music world?
Oh, definitely, yeah. It's a new way for people to discover music and to share music, and I guess that it's basically global too, right? Like
Yeah.
people from all over the world can tune into that. over like versus local radio or your friend's mixtape.
Yeah, no, definitely. Hey, I used to make the mixtapes back in the '80s, man.
Oh yeah.
All right, I'm gonna get that song and put that song and sync them together.
Like wait on the radio to catch it.
Exactly. Hey, I used to do it too, man. I used to do it too, and then CDs, and I'm like, oh, okay, here you go. I'm gonna go back, play this song, hit record on the cassette, boom, got it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And before we take off, where can viewers find you guys? Like, do you have like a website? I mean, where can they find your music, your videos? Where can they find you guys?
Yeah, well, I mean, our website definitely connects to everything, and that's mieshaandthespanks.net. But also we're on all the social platforms except for TikTok. I haven't really gotten into that yet, but Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, it's all M and the Spanks.
Okay. So viewers, now go find these guys, man. And trust me, once you listen to them, you're going to be like, wow, these guys are amazing,
Well, thanks so much. Yeah, I appreciate it. And
No
yeah,
problem.
hopefully we'll be down in the US in the spring or at least the fall after that.
Oh, I'll be stoked. And then before we head off, what can you say to the upcoming musicians? Do you have any words of advice or anything you could say to these guys?
I would say like the most important thing is to just keep going and stick it out. There's going to be a lot of roadblocks and a lot of stuff working against you, but if you keep going, and remind yourself why you wanted to do it in the first place, it really pays off, because a lot of people quit, and sticking it out, you're only going to get better at your craft, and you're going to meet more people and find more opportunities.
No, that's true. 100% true. I totally agree with you. I mean, because a lot of people do just, they half-ass it and then they expect to be Instagram famous or TikTok famous in like 2 days or 1 day, 1 second, and then it doesn't quit. It's all about.
Yeah, I mean, like doing something for a long time is worthwhile. You're gonna get great at it, and you're gonna really find your community.
Yep, 100% agree. Well, Miesha, thank you so much for coming on 101 podcast, and you guys, are killing it, and I'm so happy for you guys. Everything that's going on for you guys right now, it's amazing, and you guys totally deserve it.
Oh, thanks so much, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Well, hey, have a great day, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, talk soon. Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.